Hello and welcome to Centershaft Studio 3. I'm Will Meadows.
I'm Larry the Intern. Today we're going to take a look at Centershaft Fallen Elements by Not My Eyeball Games.
Rare gemstones, 4 brave adventurers, and 1 big hole. What could go wrong, right?
There's a lot that can go wrong. Dark magic, angry natives, and so many other dangers are lurking in Centershaft Fallen Elements. It's coming to Kickstarter in October, and we got a copy, so we checked it out.
Centershaft Fallen Elements is a tile-laying game with a constantly changing playing surface. Players must collect the 4 elements, earth, wind, fire, and water, and return to the center shaft before anyone else without dying.
To set up the game, pass out the character cards along with a meeple, 3 health tokens, a death right token, and a character journal movement counter card with 4 tracking tokens. Next, players will build the labyrinth.
Players go around drawing a path tile and connecting it to the board until all the tiles have been laid out.
Then at the beginning of their turn, players will draw an event card from the deck, resolve it or keep it, and then move their character around the board. If you land on a sarcophagus, stop and roll the d12 and follow the instructions, then remove the token from the board.
Each time a player lands on the center of the element's tile, they collect an element marker. If a gemstone is on the center space, players collect that as well.
You can then use those gems to attack opponents, and if you collect a gemstone that corresponds with your character's element, then you can attack opponents on the same tile as you. Otherwise, you must be adjacent to an opponent to use that ability. The first player to collect all 4 tokens and return to the center shaft wins.
So Centershaft is a pretty straightforward game. It does involve some strategy and some decision making. One of the nice things about the game is they actually give you 2 different options for movement. So you kind of have like a roll and move feel where you just use a d12 and move your guy around. Or they also give you on your player mat this little marker setup where you can decide like between which like 3, 6, 9, 12 movement spaces that you want to take. You mark those off and then you have to use all of them before you can refresh it. So that kind of makes it a little more strategic. You can even kind of get an idea of what the other players on the board are going to do, which is cool.
But before you even move, you have to reveal an element card, and you take that card and it can be good. You get some treasures and advantages and really neat, but there are some cards that take away health and you even lose a turn with some of those cards. So what happens is when you lose a turn, you then control the Infernal Shadow, which when the Infernal Shadow is moved, you roll a d6. Every tile that it lands on, if there are players in those tiles, it attacks them all at the same time. So kind of annoying when you get hit by that shadow.
Yeah, sometimes he kind of just ends up lost in a corner. It's not a big deal. Other times he can be integral to the gameplay, and he's kind of a cool little bonus thing that you get to do when you don't get to do anything else on your game, in your turn. I really like the variety of tiles that the game provides, because even though a lot of them are just moving your guy through them, there are some cool things where there's like one that's like a trap that you can trigger from one room and it sets off in another room. There's a couple rooms that are like wrapped in vines and you can only move on certain spaces. There's the sarcophagus tiles, which are cool, and they give you different bonuses each time. And then the portals are really nice. They can like shoot you from one side of the board to the other, and a lot of those cards that you play as well may allow you to like move some tiles too. So there's a lot of different things going on throughout the game.
If you lose 3 health tokens, you are dead. I know, it's unfortunate. But they respawn. You respawn back to the center shaft. You get what's called a death right token, and you place that on the spot where you die. If you return to that before opponents, then you get all your stuff back. But if they land on that spot before you do, they collect all your goodies. Oh, frustrating. That's very frustrating.
Yeah, that's kind of a nice little video game shout-out type of thing, and I really like the way it works in the game. I also really just like the visual way that this game looks at on the table. It's got a nice table presence. It is really big. It takes up a lot of space, but the art is really nice, and it has a really good look to it.
Definitely. So if this is a game that you think you would love, check it out on Kickstarter. It's coming in October. And of course, subscribe, comment below, and let us know what you think.
Rare gemstones.
Good mulligan.
Rare gemstones, 4 adventurers that are brave and stuff.
Those guys are cool.
Big hole. Offer you a way to decide.
Son of a gun. Eyeball Games. Kickstarter's coming to October. It is not coming to